As a new parent, one of the most frustrating challenges is dealing with baby sleep issues. Sleep is one of the most crucial aspects of a baby's development, yet it's often one of the most challenging areas for new parents to navigate. Many parents find themselves struggling with sleepless nights and exhausted days, often without realizing that their well-intentioned actions might be contributing to the problem. Let's look at 3 common mistakes parents frequently make, which can inadvertently ruin their baby's sleep, and provide practical solutions to help both babies and parents get the rest they need. Mistake number 1, creating sleep associations. That backfire. One of the most common mistakes parents make is relying on sleep reinforcements like rocking or feeding to get their baby to sleep. This approach seems like a lifesaver in the early weeks of a baby's life. After all, what baby doesn't enjoy being cuddled or nursed to sleep? It's a natural and instinctive way for parents to soothe their newborns. However, this seemingly harmless habit can backfire as the baby grows older. The problem is the way babies' sleep patterns mature. Babies experience a significant change in their sleep cycles between 3 to 5 months of age. This change, often referred to as the 4-month sleep regression, means that babies start to have 4 stages of sleep, similar to adults, instead of the simpler 2-stage cycle they had as newborns. At the end of each sleep cycle, which lasts about 45 minutes in infants, it's normal for babies to partially or fully wake up. The problem arises when babies who are used to falling asleep in their parents' arms or while feeding wake up alone in their crib. From the baby's perspective, this experience is similar to an adult falling asleep in their bed and mysteriously waking up in a completely different room. The confusion and disconnect between how they fell asleep and where they woke up can lead to distress, more frequent night wakings, and difficulty falling back asleep. This sleep association becomes a crutch that the baby relies on to fall asleep. When they wake up between sleep cycles and find that the conditions have changed, they're no longer being held or fed. They often become fully awake and cry out for the parent to recreate the conditions under which they initially fell asleep. To avoid this mistake, parents should consider helping their baby learn to fall asleep in their crib without needing to be rocked or fed to sleep. This doesn't mean leaving the baby to cry it out, which can be distressing for both the baby and the parents. Instead, parents can try a gradual approach to help their baby develop independent sleep skills. One effective method is gently patting the baby to sleep while lying in the crib. This allows the baby to become familiar with falling asleep in their sleep space while still receiving comfort from their parents. Over time, parents can gradually reduce the amount of patting, helping the baby learn to fall asleep with less assistance. Another approach is the put down drowsy but awake method. This involves going through a bedtime routine and then placing the baby in their crib when they're drowsy but not fully asleep. This gives the baby the opportunity to practice falling asleep on their own in their crib. It's important to remember that falling asleep independently in the crib is a skill that babies need to practice. Parents shouldn't expect immediate results and should be prepared for some resistance as their baby adjusts to this new way of falling asleep. Patience, consistency, and a gradual approach are key to success. Mistake number 2, responding too quickly to every sound. Many parents, especially first-time ones, tend to rush to their baby's side at the slightest sound or movement. This instinct comes from a place of love and concern, as parents naturally want to attend to their baby's needs promptly. However, this well-meaning behavior can actually disrupt the baby's sleep patterns and hinder their ability to develop self-soothing skills. What many parents don't realize is that babies are naturally noisy sleepers. They often make various sounds during sleep, including grunting, whimpering, and even crying out. They may thrash around, smile, and even briefly open their eyes while in REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. These sounds and movements are normal and usually don't require any response from parents. Furthermore, it's common for babies to make noises, shift positions, or even cry out briefly when they wake up between sleep cycles. This is a natural part of their sleep pattern and doesn't necessarily mean they're fully awake or in distress. If given a chance, many babies will settle back down to sleep independently without their parents' help. By rushing in at every noise or movement, parents might wake their baby from REM sleep or turn brief, natural wake-ups into full-blown awakenings. This can lead to more frequent night wakings, shorter naps, and overall disrupted sleep for both baby and parents. To avoid this mistake, parents should try implementing the pause technique. When they hear their baby making noise or moving around, instead of immediately rushing in, they should pause, watch, and listen. This pause doesn't need to be long. Even just 30 seconds to a minute can be enough to determine if the baby is truly awake and in need of attention. During this pause, parents can observe their baby through a video monitor or by listening carefully. They might find that the baby settles back to sleep on their own. If the baby continues to fuss or cry, then the parent can go in to check on them. Mistake number 3, stimulating activities during night feedings. A third common mistake that parents often make is engaging in stimulating activities during nighttime feedings or wake-ups. Many parents, in an attempt to stay awake during these late-night sessions, turn on the TV, check their phones, catch up on work emails, or engage in other screen-based activities. While this might seem like a good way to multitask or stay alert, it can actually be detrimental to both the parents and the baby's sleep. The bright lights and engaging screen content can have several negative effects and confuse the baby's circadian rhythm. The bright light from screens, particularly the blue light emitted by most electronic devices, can confuse the baby's brain, making them think it's time to be awake rather than sleep. This can make it harder for the baby to fall back asleep after a feeding. Exposure to blue light can interfere with the production of melatonin, often referred to as the sleep hormone. Our bodies naturally start producing melatonin in the evening as it gets darker, signaling that it's time to wind down and get ready for bed. The light from screens can trick the brain into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing melatonin production and making it harder for both parent and baby to fall back asleep. If the baby is exposed to the sounds or sights from a TV or phone, it can stimulate their mind and make them more alert, counteracting the drowsiness that typically follows nighttime feeding. If screens become a regular part of nighttime wake-ups, babies may start to expect this stimulation and have trouble falling asleep without it. To avoid this mistake, parents should try to keep the room dark and quiet during nighttime feedings and wake-ups. This helps reinforce to the baby that nighttime is for sleeping, not for play or stimulation. Understanding baby sleep patterns. One of the keys to avoiding these common mistakes is understanding baby sleep patterns. Every baby is unique, but there are general patterns that most babies follow as they grow. Knowing these patterns can help parents structure their day and set realistic expectations for their baby's sleep. In the newborn stage, 0 to 3 months, babies typically sleep for 14-17 hours per day, broken into several short periods around the clock. They don't yet have an established circadian rhythm, so their sleep is distributed fairly evenly between day and night. As babies reach 3 to 6 months, they start to develop more of a day-night rhythm. They may sleep for longer stretches at night, although frequent night wakings are still normal and have 3 to 4 naps during the day. Total sleep time typically ranges from 12-15 hours per day. By 6 to 12 months, many babies can sleep for longer stretches at night and usually take 2 to 3 naps during the day. Total sleep time is usually around 12-14 hours per day. The power of white noise. One strategy many parents find helpful in encouraging more restful sleep is using white noise. Studies have shown that white noise can help people of all ages, including babies, fall asleep faster and reduce nighttime waking. White noise can be an effective tool for helping babies sleep by providing a consistent background sound that masks sudden noises like barking dogs or passing cars, which might otherwise wake a baby. It also mimics the soothing, womb-like environment, where sounds like the mother's heartbeat and blood flow create a noisy yet comforting atmosphere. Additionally, white noise can help babies and even adults transition more smoothly between sleep cycles, reducing the chances of fully waking up. However, it's important to use white noise correctly to avoid potential hearing issues. The volume should be kept at a safe level, ideally around 50 decibels, similar to the sound of a quiet shower, and never exceed 85 decibels. The machine should be placed at least 7 feet away from the baby's crib to avoid excessive loudness. For best results, white noise should be used consistently for all sleep periods to help the baby associate the sound with sleep time. Parents should regularly test their white noise setup to ensure it's still at a safe volume and distance as they rearrange the nursery or as their baby grows and becomes more mobile. Conclusion: helping a baby sleep can be one of the hardest parts of being a new parent. Many sleep problems are unintentionally created or worsened by well-meaning parents who are simply trying to do what's best for their child. By understanding these common mistakes, creating problematic sleep associations, responding too quickly to every sound, and engaging in stimulating activities during night feedings, parents can take steps to help their baby develop healthy sleep habits. It's important to remember that every baby is unique, and what works for one might not work for another. Parents should feel empowered to experiment with different approaches and find what works best for their family. The key is to be patient, consistent, and responsive to the baby's needs, while also encouraging their developing ability to self-soothe and sleep independently. Lastly, parents should always consult with their pediatrician if they have concerns about their baby's sleep patterns or if sleep issues persist despite their best efforts. Sometimes sleep problems can be a sign of underlying health issues that need medical attention.